You're good to go, Keith.
Good to go. Good morning and welcome to today's public comment period for our regular board cycle of meetings. We have 5 speakers with us today. Each speaker will be permitted up to 3 minutes for comment with a verbal prompt provided to assist with the timekeeping. While we are open to topics included in our agenda for discussion, there are a few items that are not permitted as items for public expression. These include issues under negotiation as part of the university's collective bargaining process, the employment status of any specific individual, statements concerning the private activities, lifestyles, or beliefs of individuals employed by or associated with the university, grievances of individual students or employees, proposals or bids for contracts, or pending or threatened litigation involving the university. As I introduce each speaker, I would ask that you please come to the podium to make your remarks. Our first speaker, Steve Masters, a Penn State alum, has asked to speak on the topic of governance.
Thank you for extending me the privilege to address the board. I'm very pleased that Judge Hausar has ordered Penn State to provide unfettered access to the Alumni Board of Trustee members to the free report source materials. Contrary to the Penn State administration's claim, this legal action was necessary in order to get access to the unredacted source materials. Wasteful expenses have been caused not by the Alumni Board of Trustee members bringing the suit, but by administration's refusal to do an objective review of the free report and the millions of dollars that have been spent based on the free report farce. Letting the free report go unchallenged continues to have a negative impact on Penn State's reputation as well as its bottom line. It's time to come clean and put the worst crisis in Penn State's history behind us by finally doing an objective review of the free report and providing the real motivations of the board in the role in the fiasco by answering the following questions. Why did the board fire Joe Paterno and Graham Spanier? Why did the board decide to hire Louis Freeh, and what were his marching orders? Why did the board feel there was no need to review the conclusions of the free report? Why did the board join the NCAA in the Corman v. NCAA case when a repeal of the consent decree would have greatly benefited the university? It is also past time for the university to honor Joe Paterno and his 60-plus years of exemplary service. He may be the winningest Division I coach in NCAA history, but his greatest accomplishments came outside of the football field in his role as a humanitarian.
1 minute left.
Thank you.
Next, I'll ask Cheryl Flegel to take the podium. Ms. Flegel has indicated the nature of her remarks is about unresolved issues.
Good morning. It is now 4 years later, 4 long years, and still no explanation or comment from this board. There has not been one word in defense of an innocent man who gave 61 years to Penn State and who recently was honored by the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. There has not been an apology to Mrs. Paterno and the Paterno family, who also gave much to this great university. The 11-9-11 board has unsuccessfully tried to destroy the reputations of Joe Paterno, President Spanier, Mr. Curley, and Mr. Schultz. What you have succeeded in doing is destroying the trust and respect of the alumni and the supporters of Penn State. Not one of you has supported Penn State University in these 4 years. It is quite evident only the alumni elected trustees have the backbone to do so. What an embarrassing disaster you have made of Penn State, to which the board owe a fiduciary duty. It is amazing how clueless you think the people who follow your actions are. I, for one, can only imagine what is so secretive to allow this charade to continue for 4 years. I feel it's important to address an incident that occurred at a previous board meeting, that being the rather loud reprimand by you, Dr. Barron, to Dr. Stenell and Mr. Goldsmith, in which you stated it's people like you who are giving Penn State a bad name. Perhaps you should be directing those words to yourself and to your board. Dr. Stenell and Mr. Goldsmith are seeking the truth in this disaster that you people have created and allowed to continue. I will reiterate once again, we are not moving on and never will until the egregious injustice is resolved with the truth. You also stated that you would conduct a full review of the free report. I think multitudes of people would be very interested in your progress and comments on this so-called independent report. It has been 4 long years. It is time for this board to step up and expose the truth, or step down and get out of the way. Penn State University deserves better.
Adam Taragnoli, a current student, has asked to address the board on the agenda item related to recreational facilities access modifications.
Hello, members of the board. I want to thank you for the opportunity to come before you and speak today. My name is Adam Taragnoli, and I'm the Facilities Chairman for the Facilities Committee of UPUA, and I'll be speaking on their behalf. I was in attendance yesterday for the Committee on Finance, Business, and Capital Planning, and I want to thank the members of those committee not only for addressing the concerns with the proposal to the modifications to the rec facilities, but also for listening to the students. I thought the discussion yesterday was really great, and you really addressed the issues of campus safety, and you asked to and proposed to push the agenda item and really take a look at the money we'll be spending and the effect that it'll have on campus safety. So I really thank you for that. With that being said, this past Wednesday, the UPUA passed a resolution in opposition to the project and the modifications to the recreational facilities. We believe, and I think we can all agree, the university has an obligation to do everything in its power to ensure campus safety and maintain the safety within its facilities. It's our belief that the current system and policies we have in recreation facilities appropriately address security concerns, and more importantly, that these modifications that are being proposed won't strengthen security as they set out to do. This is for 2 reasons, and this is what the UPUA, on behalf of the student body, believes. First, with the turnstiles, anyone with a PSU ID is able to access the facilities. And if you don't have an ID, you can come with someone who does have an ID, and you're getting into the buildings anyway. Second is the nature of these buildings doesn't allow for the main entrance type of situation that we have in IM since it's restructuring. It was mentioned yesterday that Rec Hall has 72 doors, so it's hard to get a main door there. There's also many others at White Building and the other campus facilities. It's because of their nature. Also, the cost of this project. $7.5 million and $400,000 a year is a lot of money, and we're still skeptical to where this money is going to come from and if this is going to raise fees for students. It's hard enough, and as not a state resident, it's hard with coming up and being here, but we're so glad we are. But let me just follow that by saying we absolutely should spend money if we do know that security is going to be improved. Lastly, I believe I should take this opportunity to hopefully open a broader discussion amongst the board on campus safety. Again, in relation to this project, and I think we can all agree that campus safety is our #1 priority, but I have a hard time in relation to this project making rec facilities that are only open for half of each day, more secure than our classrooms, buildings like the Hub, and residence halls. So I thank you so much for your time, and I thank you for all of your efforts and the discussion and looking into this project, and I'm so excited to see what will happen in the future. So thank you.
Emily Miller, Speaker of the Assembly for UPUA, would like to address mental health initiatives on campus and strives to provide enhanced resources. Emily?
Okay, thank you. Hello all. It's wonderful to see you again. So as Chair Masser just said, I will be talking about mental health. And as some of you may know, UPUA annually hosts a mental health and wellness week. And so what we do, we host various events about discussions. We'll host panels. We'll have speakers come in to allow students a forum to not only talk about their struggles, but have other students hear about those struggles, and also really try to highlight the resources that we have at Penn State for dealing with these various issues. And so Counseling and Psychological Services is a partner of ours, as well as various other student organizations. And this is a very important aspect of mental health, being willing to have these conversations, being open to what students are going through. And so many conversations we have had with various entities and our constituents share the sentiment that as important as it is what we're doing, it's not quite enough. And something that we always go back to is, that we need more money. Where else, there's always a need for more money everywhere. But this is something that part of it is a conversation, part of it is awareness and things like that, but the other part is funding and making sure that we have the resources for the students that need that. Now, the class gift this year will be an endowment for Counseling and Psychological Services, and I think this makes a very strong statement from the student body that this is an issue that we take seriously. Additionally, administration works very hard to find additional funding for Counseling and Psychological Services as well. And actually, students and various student organizations have come to UPUA proposing to look into the possibility of a mental health fee. That in itself, again, I think is a statement that if the student body is interested, in further taxing themselves for something, I think that's an issue that we need to take seriously and look into. And so my update is to you is to let you know that this is something students have brought to our attention, and it's something that UPUA has begun to look into, and having conversations with administrators and various other groups to sort of see, what this would look like, how this would happen. And in a second, you'll hear from Terry Ford, and he'll talk to you a little bit more about the details of the fee and the fee itself. But this is, again, something that we all as a Penn State community take very seriously. And I think as a student government, if we have a way to answer the students' call and also provide more resources, then that's something that we should look into. So again, thank you very much and take care.
Next, I'll ask Vice President of the University Park Undergraduate Association, Terry Ford, to take the podium. Terry has asked to introduce a collaborative initiative among the student leadership authorities regarding administration of student fees. Terry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back in front of you all today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Terry Ford. I am the Vice President of the UPUA. And today I would like to introduce to the board one of our top priorities for the year. As you know, students currently pay nearly $1,000 each year in excessive tuition to cover their student activity fee, facility fee, and information technology fee. The philosophical purpose of these fees is to provide essential funding for out-of-classroom endeavors. While such endeavors are an integral part of the Penn State experience, students have little knowledge as to how these fees are used and who is responsible for their stewardship. The administration of the three fees consists of varying levels of student engagement and input. The student activity fee, for example, is overseen by a student activity fee board. The board empowers student government leaders to control how much the students who elected us pay each semester in fees. However, the administration of the other fees here at University Park and across the Commonwealth is fragmented and confusing to students. As such, the UPUA has partnered with the Graduate and Professional Student Association and the Council of Commonwealth Student Governments to form a student fee commission. This commission has analyzed the current fee system across the university to highlight certain strengths and weaknesses. Our overall objective is to optimize the allocating and setting processes associated with the student fees and to expand student engagement throughout these processes. At this point, based on our research, we believe that a more centralized fee system would eliminate confusion and allow students greater freedom in how fees are used. The new system would ideally combine the 3 fees into one to be overseen by a general student fee board, where students from all campuses can come together and work with administrators to effectively allocate this money. The student fee board would also be able to accurately assess the dynamic needs of the student body. Included in our proposal is a process by which students could propose the addition of new fee expenditures. The idea of a mental health fee has received increased popularity of late, and our new system would allow for the development of such a fee. Our proposed system would allow students to essentially tax themselves if they see fit, and direct that money to various entities capable of providing the resources that students seek. President Barron, Vice President Sims, and others have engaged us on this topic and are helping us as we work out the details of our proposal. The student governments have developed a conceptual outline of what we would like to see happen, and over the coming weeks we will delve into the specifics regarding how our new system would work. I look forward to updating you all on our progress sometime soon. Thank you all very much.
On behalf of the board, I would like to thank all of you who took the time out of your schedules to be with us today to provide your comments. Thank you.